Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Someone who is, was an integral part of the first Trump administration, one of the few people to make it the entire Trump administration from start to finish, is somebody who's also become an authority on Trumponomics and many other things related to the economy. And that is former Secretary of Commerce and the author of a terrific book called Risks and Returns, Creating Success in Business and Life, Wilbur Ross. Mr. Secretary, it's great to talk with you again.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You know, and anecdotally, Mr. Secretary, I happened to have breakfast with your ex-wife, Betsy McCoy, last week, and I brought your name up, and she was effusive in her praise for you. And I don't know of many ex-wives that would have as many kind things to say as yours did of you. So that must speak well of you, even if you have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to the economy, which I realize you do.
Well, that's a whole lot of nice stuff.
All right, Mr. Secretary, let me ask you about, first, hopes and fears. We're heading into a new Trump administration. I think everybody, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, wants the economy to do well. It's no secret that sometimes presidents make great economic moves, make great economic picks, and the economy, for reasons that may have nothing to do with the presidency, has other plans. What are you forecasting for the next few years, short term and long term, in terms of the country's economic health?
I think the outlook is pretty good as long as consumer confidence holds up. As you know, consumer is about 70% of our economy. So that's a gigantic factor. I'm not a believer that Trump's tariff policies are going to disrupt things. I don't think they'll be that inflationary, and I don't think they will cause shortages or any other upset that will knock things out. What we do have to think about, though, is it's been a long time since there was a real economic recession. The COVID recession was not a normal economic recession. Mm-hmm. It was brought on by political people and the reaction to COVID. So that I don't count. And so it could be in the next 4 years sometime we'll have a recession. But I don't see it at all near term, and I certainly don't see it being caused by his policy.
You mentioned tariffs not being inflationary. A lot of folks point not only to the president's tariff policy, but also the anticipated deportations, which may have a bit of a chilling effect on the number of illegal immigrants in the country here and those seeking to come here. It's no secret there are a lot of illegal immigrants working in restaurants, hotels, in construction trades, all in many other fields all over the country. And part of the reason they're so able to find employment is because they're willing to work for wages that legal citizens or legal residents are not willing to work for. Do you see a scenario in which the combination of tariffs and a stricter immigration policy could be inflationary?
No, I really don't in this regard. If you look at restaurant prices, they have been going right through the roof. So there's certainly no evidence that having a lot of illegal immigrants working in restaurants has held the prices down. Second, what we really need in this country is higher participation of working age people in the workforce. We only have about 63% are participating right now. if we could get just 1% more to participate, that would be over 2 million actual Americans added to the workforce. So the idea that somehow we're very short of labor and that somehow whatever cheap labor there is has been holding prices down, I don't see it. Can you name me a single restaurant you go to where prices are lower than they were last year?
I can't. Not in New York, anyway. Not in New York, that's for sure. Hey, I try to be open-minded and fair. And although I'm a Trump supporter, I have many friends that are Democrats that I correspond with regularly. And one of them wrote to me yesterday that Trump's luck is just incredible. He's going to be taking credit for ending inflation that's already come down, the Gaza truce, creating good-paying jobs for workers, parenthesis, CHIPS Act and infrastructure spending. And basically, this friend of mine wrote to me as if that the work that Biden has done, namely the CHIPS Act, the infrastructure spending, whatever else, that Trump is going to be the beneficiary of that in terms of economic numbers. What do you say to someone like that who may have that view?
Well, as you remember, I'm the one who originated the CHIPS Act.
I do indeed.
And we ought to think about what did the CHIPS Act become when it was passed. We had requested $50 billion to promote semiconductor fabrication facilities and advanced research in the U.S. They added over $450 billion of extraneous social experiments to that. Most of that just put more money in the pockets of people without them doing any more work, and in fact, in many cases, not doing work at all. So I don't see that was that beneficial. $50 billion was good for semiconductors, and it's important for that industry. But in a roughly $30 trillion economy, it's a rounding error. So the notion that the CHIPS Act in and of itself was a big deal that will help the economy, I don't buy that. It's more the case that it has continued this problem of people not working because they get more money for not working than they did when they ever were working.
This episode is brought to you by Cadillac. Cadillac certified service technicians are factory trained to fit your vehicle with the tires specifically developed for it. And with our tire price match guarantee, you get the best fit for the best deal. Let us do the work. Available on select eligible tire brands at participating dealers only. Offer ends 12/31/2025. Terms apply. See dealer for complete details. Visit Cadillac.com/service to learn more.
Smart Water Alkaline with antioxidant. 9.5 plus pH, now in cans.
Refreshing.
Made for every way you move.
Should I run a marathon?
Let's start with finishing that water. Smart Water Alkaline with antioxidant, now in a sleek can. For those with a taste for taste. Grab yours today.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
We off? 30 seconds of carefree bliss.
Oof, like wind in your hair carefree.
Oh, like using Clorox Disinfecting All-Purpose Cleaner in the home carefree.
Yes!
Like dog slobbing on the coffee table and cleaning it with Clorox Carefree.
He's on a roll now.
Spit toothpaste on the faucet.
You got it. You got it.
Peanut butter on the light switch.
Oh, spritz, spritz.
Spritz, spritz. Clorox, man. Clean feels good.
Okay, we're back.
Use as directed.
Mr. Secretary, one issue that is very much an economic issue and a political issue and potentially also a national security issue is the debate over TikTok. Today, it was supposed to be banned because of this bipartisan legislation Congress passed and President Biden signed. President Trump has indicated he'd like TikTok to continue. The Supreme Court looked at it and said, nope, this is what Congress passed. We're going to let the ban go forward. This very much is a commerce issue because there are a whole bunch of people that make a lot of money relying on TikTok and a lot of other businesses that use TikTok as a big part of their marketing strategy. I'm curious of what you think of the TikTok ban on both the substantive aspect, meaning should it be banned for all the reasons people have stated, and from a procedural aspect, meaning President Trump has indicated he wants to put forward an executive order to pause this. Is that democratic for a president to actually put a pause on legislation that was passed by Congress?
Well, that's a very complex set of questions. My own view on TikTok is I think the problem is not the fact of TikTok. I think the problem is its ultimate ownership and the ultimate control by the Chinese. All those people who get a living out of TikTok could just as well get it out of TikTok if it were American-owned as if it were Chinese-owned. And a couple reasons for that. One, I don't think it's appropriate that the Chinese government potentially knows more about the behavior patterns of young people in America than their parents do. I don't think that's a good thing because TikTok really learns a lot about its viewers. The second feeling about it is, as you're probably aware, TikTok is banned in China. Mm-hmm. And the reason it's banned in China is they were afraid that it might have too much power politically. Well, I believe if you analyze what the TikTok messages have been, mostly subliminal messages, but the messaging clearly has been anti-conservative and anti a lot of things that you and I hold dear. So I think it's the fact of Chinese government being in a position to manipulate TikTok and to get information from it. Those are what bother me. To have a bunch of dancing kids and music and all that, I think would be fine if it weren't this link to China.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Secretary, let me end with this. You are the only person that I've talked to today, and probably the only person that I'm likely to speak to today, who has been confirmed by the U.S. Senate. When President Trump nominated you for Secretary of Commerce, you were subjected to confirmation hearings, and ultimately the Senate confirmed you. Now, all of Trump's basket of nominees are going through this. The three that the odds makers pin as having the most difficult time getting confirmed, or at least the rockiest time on the way to confirmation, are Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at HHS, Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence, and Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of Defense. As someone who has a unique perspective of having gone through this process, where do you pin their prospects, and what advice would you give them as someone that's been through this process before?
Well, in my own case, as you know, we had a very divided Congress, especially in the Senate. And I've got 72 affirmative votes and only 27 negative votes. So it's possible to get a very strong confirmation vote even in a divided Senate. As to the individual posts, Secretary of Defense, I thought handled himself very, very well in the hearing, and I gather from others that he handled himself very well when he made his courtesy calls to the senators before the hearing. So I think he certainly won't get anything like 100 votes, but that isn't, the margin isn't so important. I think he has a very strong probability of being confirmed, and he's probably the one that was the most controversial before all this started. Robert Kennedy, I don't really know, and I don't believe that he's had his hearings. If he has, I've missed them. So I don't know what would be the reaction to his actual performance. But I do like very much Maynard Oz, who is the designee to be the head of the CMBS, which is very, very important because of its role in healthcare funding.
Mr. Secretary, it's always a treat to chat with you. I always learn a great deal. I hope we can talk again soon.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you. Wilbur Ross, former Secretary of Commerce in the Trump administration, and the author of a terrific book, which is kind of part memoir and part, management guidebook, and just has a lot of interesting stories. It's called Risks and Return, and it's about a lot of things that would help you in the workplace, even if you have no interest in being a billionaire or any interest in serving in a presidential cabinet. Risks and Returns, Creating Success in Business and Life. All right. We're going to take your calls in a moment. 646-720-0635. That's 646-720-0635. And, you don't have to chat about politics. I know the Eagles are ahead by a touchdown over the Rams. My friend, Judge Brendan Lantry, is not able to discuss politics. If that applies to you, maybe that's you. Give me a call, 646-720-0635. This is The Roger Stone Show on 77 WABC. Straight ahead.
It's The Roger Stone Show on 77 WABC.